I'm Roger Johnson, National Farmers Union President. Come on into the office. We just relocated into the new office here several months ago. This is the front reception area. Laura is the person on the phone and the person who greets visitors as they come in. And we'll take you on a little tour around the office. Over here is the conference room that we have a lot of the meetings in. It's also a library. We have at least committees of the board that meet here, and then we've got a larger board room in the ground floor of this building that's used by a lot of the different folks who have offices in this office complex here. So come on down the hallway. We'll talk a little bit about some of the things that different folks do. We moved in here in March of 2010. This is the outside of the conference room. It's sort of the colors and the look here is a little bit like a barn. So it's got kind of that rural feel to it, and the carpeting sort of has that rural feel to it as well. Back here, we have a very active intern program where we like to have young college students, many of them Farmers Union students, who spend a summer or maybe a fall quarter or spring quarter, winter quarter, or semesters here working with us up on the Capitol Hill, being a part of sort of everything that we do here in the office. This office belongs to Jeremy Peters, who is one of our specialists in energy and climate sorts of policies. So he's off doing meetings right now, and he's been very, very active because that's been a really big issue for us in the last couple of years. This is my office. I spend, probably half my time here in the office and a lot of time traveling. I try to get to all of the state conventions, and then there are lots of other events that happen around the country, different coalition partners of ours that we need to go and meet with or speak to their members, and then they come and speak to ours. So this is our office. It's just several months old. We're pretty well moved in. And back here is, this is Brittany's office. She's another one of our lobbyists, Brittany Jablonski, North Dakota native as well. And she does a lot of the food safety, organics, things of that nature are in her portfolio. Mike Strands is another one of the lobbyists, and he works on a lot of the infrastructure, transportation issues, a lot of the Farm Bill issues as well are in Mike's portfolio. Back here is Chandler Gould's office. Chandler is the Vice President of Government Relations, and he's off doing meetings on dairy policy, I think is what he's been dealing with right now. That's also been an issue that we've spent a lot of time in the last couple of years working on because of the sort of the economic devastation that's hit that industry. And we're hopeful that in this next Farm Bill, dairy policy is going to see some fairly major changes. There are a lot of signs that that's going to happen. We've been a part of a very large coalition of agricultural groups and dairy interests that have been meeting for many months trying to hammer out some new policy tools. So that's Chandler's office. The other vice president in the office is Jeff Knutson, and he's responsible for operations here, oversees the budgeting and finances, and kind of makes things run all the time. So that's Jeff's office. Okay? All right. We have just a little bit smaller footprint in this office as we did in the office that we moved out of last winter. That office is only a block away, so we're really in the same place. but this is much more efficiently laid out. We've got more offices, individual offices here, and so we've got room for probably a couple of other employees. We oftentimes have people who come in, state presidents need a place to work for a while, and so we've got workstations set up in different places for them as well. We'll come down here to Melissa's office, and she's here hard at work. She's in charge of all the communications here in the office, oversees that whole area, does website and all those sorts of things, and is responsible for making sure that our message gets told not only to our members but to the general public as well. Okay? And next to Melissa is Linda. And Linda has been here the longest. She is our office manager, and she's kind of responsible for making sure everything operates and does a really good job of doing that.
Thank you, sir.
You're welcome. Yeah. Okay. Across the way, this is our kind of the mechanical nerve center. The big computer servers are here, and the copy machines and printers and fax machines and things like that, and storage in the back for some of the historical records that we have here in the department. This is one of the vacant offices, and over here is Jan Allen, who is a recent employee also focused on energy and climate. And he's, for a lot of the work that we've been doing in energy and climate, we've been working off of some grant funds from private foundations that are also interested in making sure that we have a lot of renewable energy policies in this country that make sense to grow that industry and reduce our dependence on foreign sources of energy. So that's given us the ability to do a little extra work there. A couple more offices here, and back here is Cheryl's office, and she does membership work and in charge of, we've just made a major investment in a new database program to keep track of all our members around the country. Many of the large states have their own membership records and membership departments, and they do those, but for many of the states that don't have those kinds of resources, we do that kind of work, and we need to make sure membership records are kept up to date, that we don't have too many duplicates in the system, that we try and appropriately deal with folks as new members are added or as members pass on. We want to try and get those records as up to date as possible. So we bought a fairly robust system called a Vectra that helps us to do a lot of those things, and many of the states are coordinating with that program as well. And then the final office we've got back here is where a lot of our accounting work is done. Whether we have a full-time employee as an accountant, or right now we are outsourcing that, we've got a team that works here in Washington, D.C. of accounting professionals, and they do work for all kinds of nonprofit organizations. Okay, so that's the office. We want to invite all of our members, wherever you are in the country, give us a call, stop into the office, visit with us, we'll show you around, and we'll talk about what's important to you. As I started saying at the very beginning of this process here, we work on issues that are important to our members. That's the only reason we exist, is to try and make sure that our members' voices are heard here on Capitol Hill and in other places where it matters. So come on in, stop and visit with us. We'd love to hear from you. If you think we're doing something that is wrong, let us know. Show up at your state convention or your county convention. Make sure your voice is heard, and come to the national convention. Make your voice heard there as well. On the other hand, if you think a lot of the stuff that we're doing is the right kind of stuff, we'd like to hear that too, because we want to be doing what's important to you. We happen to believe that we're right on a lot of these issues, and that grassroots support from members is very, very important. And so we do everything we can to make sure those voices are heard all over.